We are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, as always, we're talking about moving towards masculinity. Masculinity is the name of the game. It is our final destination as men. And not only is it our final destination, but it is the roadmap towards getting everything in life that you desire. As we come to know this, we gotta know where we start. Where we start is femininity. All of us, both women and boys, start out feminine. Women are to remain in their femininity and to enjoy that femininity forever, while men are supposed to move towards masculinity, discipline, and overcoming their own weaknesses in order for them to become powerful, right? So now as we know this, we start out as feminine between the age of 0 to 9 years old. As we grow up, we begin to get testosterone and semen production, which causes us to gain testosterone. This is our drive. This is our motivation. This is what causes us to do things that we don't want to do in order for us to get the end result that we desire. Most guys, unfortunately, waste this testosterone production. They waste their sperm, they waste all of their masculine energy and don't get to tap into their full potential. You don't do that because you know what you get from this channel. You understand the potential of that seed to bring you to the land of your dreams. As we understand this, we now need to look at how do we get to the land of our dreams? And what is it that we want at the end there? What truly is it that we're trying to get to? And if you think about it, we want to lead. We want to be worshipped by those that we love, but we want to lead. Because if we're leading others, then we basically are moving towards the direction we want to go. If we're leading others, we can get 100 people to help us out on our journey, or in other words, we help them out so that they can help us out, and then you do that to 1,000 people, you do that to 10,000 people, 100,000 people, you lead 1,000,000 people to go in the same direction as you, and as long as you create a win-win situation out of this, then you will be able to get everything in life that you desire because you've helped so many other people get what they desire. Your goal is to become a leader. The more masculine you are, the more of a leader you are. Well, Joseph, I don't really want to be a leader. Well, then too bad for you, bro. Then you're going to remain in your femininity forever. This is why I say that capitalism and building your own business is one of the most masculine things you can do because it moves you towards leadership. You cannot successfully create a proper set up big business with 500 employees, 1,000 employees, 10,000 employees without being a leader yourself. It puts you to the test. It creates traction, right? In order for you to become masculine, to become a leader. So if you know that that's what you're looking for, that you want, you want love, you want worship, you want acceptance, you want all those things, you want one day to be completely free, to do what you want to do when you want to do it, as long as it goes according to the universal principles, so that you can retain the amazing emotions, the amazing feelings, the amazing everything that you're going to have in the future. In order for you to do that, you've got to set a new, higher standard for yourself. Right now, you might not have much of a standard for yourself. Let's say, for example, your mother coddled you for an extremely long period of time. You might be still living with your mother, as far as I know. That's a problem, because that means that she might be supporting you, right? What kind of standard is that? Or you're living on welfare from the government. They're providing for you. What the hell what is that? That's not masculine. That's remaining in your femininity. The faster you can get out of being provided for and protected by someone, the faster you'll move towards masculinity. You need to be kicked out of your nest as fast as possible because you want life to hit you in the face. You want life to pound you into the ground because that's the only way you're going to learn. It's the only way you're going to learn to get back up and face that rejection. If you don't face that rejection, you're going to remain there. You're going to give up. Part of masculinity is facing head on the rejection that comes to us. If we don't receive that rejection, we embrace it and we tackle it and we handle it and we solve that rejection, then we can't move on to the next rejection. And then we got to move on to the next rejection, and we keep facing rejections. What is a rejection? It's a failure, right? The people that becomes the most successful are those that have gone through the most failures. The people that are ultimate failures are those that never want to fail. So you need to make it a point in your life that you will increase your standard every single day of your life to make sure that you reach that highest standard for yourself that you have for yourself. You need to elevate yourself. And that next standard is a rejection. Basically, you setting a new standard for yourself means that you are rejecting who you are right now. That's a good thing. That's a fantastic thing. So basically, I'm supposed to tell myself that I'm good enough, I'm fantastic, I love myself, right? It's all about self-love these days. But I need to get to the next level. I want to get to the next level. I want to become more of who I am. I want to reach my next potential. What is my potential? If you ask yourself those questions, you will reach higher, right? Because you'll be like, I don't want to remain who I am. I want to change. I want to become a new person. I want to set that higher standard. Why? Why do you want to set that higher standard? Because whatever is inside your comfort zone is all you're going to get. So the only way to get what you want is to get outside your comfort zone. The whole goal of masculinity is to increase your comfort zone to become absolutely massive. Where are you comfortable? In whose presence are you extremely comfortable? Right? And in whose presence are you able to create a win-win situation so that you both respect each other? Are you able to enter into the presence of God, for example, and be comfortable? I'm just using that as an extreme example. Are you able to get into the presence of your biggest idols, whoever has been an example for you? Are you able to get on the phone with them or meet them face to face and be like, I'm comfortable? Why? Because I live according to a certain standard. And I know that I'm living according to the same standard as the person that I'm in front of. If I'm living at a massively lower standard, then I'm going to look up to this guy and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't talk to this guy. He's going to reject me. You want to be accepted by every single person around you. It's kind of fascinating because the higher your standard is, like the more difficult of a standard you have in your own life towards yourself, the more expectations you have towards yourself, the more accepting people will be of you around you. It's amazing. The more richer you become, the more rich people accept you as their own. And that's what you want to be. Like, you want to feel comfortable in everyone's presence, and you want to be able to come in and buy whatever it is that you want in whichever shop that you want, and your Visa or your MasterCard or your Bitcoin is being accepted. Do you understand what I mean? You don't want to be rejected anywhere. That's why you need to increase your standard on a continual basis, and that is, my friends, a rejection. Right? So what do we say about rejection on this channel? We love rejection. We want to be rejected because that's going to take us to the land of our dreams. If you're not being rejected on a daily basis, you're not getting with the program. You're not moving forward. Getting rejected is taking a step back so that you can take 2 steps forward, and continuously doing that every single day, failing on a continual basis. I love these topics because the more you are rejected, and you're voluntarily rejecting yourself by putting you in difficult situations, or situations that you don't really want to be in, you don't feel like doing what you're doing, but you know that it's necessary for you to grow. The more you put yourself in those situations, the more comfortable you become about being in those situations. What just happened? You had a lousy attitude in the beginning. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to drive a garbage truck, or you know, work like a garbage guy, whatever. No, I don't want to work with a salesperson. Do you understand what I mean? Like, there's certain jobs that you're just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But maybe it's actually the exact thing that you need in order for you to get to the next level. Because you got to realize that rejection of having a lousy attitude about something that might actually help you move forward. You need to learn how to have an okay attitude about bad things happening to you, about, doing things that other people are not willing to do. The more you put yourself in those difficult situations with the bad attitude, that's what's going to happen in the beginning. You're going to have a horrible attitude, but now you're beginning to learn how to have an okay attitude. Because if you can control your thoughts and you can control your emotions, that basically means that you eventually will be able to choose to have a positive attitude independent of circumstances, which means that you can be in the worst place on earth. You can be in a war zone. You can be in the worst situation possible, and you're the only person there with a positive attitude. The person who knows that this is gonna work out. I don't know when, and maybe we'll never get out of this situation, but I still will believe. I still will, know that if we just take one day at a time, we will get there, right? Do you understand what I mean? I'm trying to help you to see that being rejected is absolutely fantastic, and then we're increasing our attitude so that in any situation, we are the leaders in that situation. It is the person with the best attitude in any circumstance, and that manages to keep up that attitude for the longest period of time consistently, who is the leader. And that's exactly what we wanted to be. We want to become masculine. We want to become leaders. Well, guess what? We need to have positive attitudes independent of circumstances, no matter what circumstance we are in. This is how you set a higher standard for yourself. That you meet rejection, you get to the next level, and in that uncomfortable situation, you're fired up outside your brain. And then you move on to the next level and you're so freaking uncomfortable. But guess what? You faced it head on with a positive freaking attitude, and you solved it. And you found a solution. And then you give yourself a bigger problem, and guess what? You're solving the problem. This is masculinity, guys. This is taking yourself to the next level and never be satisfied. Ever. You should never settle in any situation or endeavor. Never. You want to be a winner, but the winners are those that fail the most. So you got to learn how to be okay with failure, because not so many other people are. They struggle with failure. But on this channel, you realize that, you know what? In order for me to fantastically go up, it is important that I go down at times in order for me to sustainably go up. That if you look at a Bitcoin chart, let me just use that as an example. It's pumped amazingly last 48 hours. But let me just use that as an example in terms of the graph of a Bitcoin chart. When you look at the Bitcoin chart, is it only green? Okay, are there only green candlesticks that are going upwards and it goes all the way to the moon? No. Well, what is it? It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. If it continuously just went up, it would eventually have a massive crash at some point. This is exactly how it is when it comes to riches, when it comes to your emotions, when you take drugs, when you have casual sexual relationships, whatever. You get a massive spike and then it comes crashing down. You don't want that. You'd rather take the rejection on the way to the top. You get accepted, you get rejected. You get accepted, you get rejected, but you keep going up steadily but surely, exponentially over time. I wanted to mention the 5 phases of leadership. For those of you guys that are new to this channel, the 5 phases of leadership are as follows. Allow yourself to be led. That's number 1. Number 2 is lead yourself. Number 3 is lead others. Number 4 is lead women. And number 5, lead kids. Leading women and kids is something that we're not talking about yet because you're not freaking ready. It's time for you to learn how to do the 3 first ones first, which means that you might not be with a woman or date women for another 2 years. Who cares? You need to learn the ropes. You need to understand leadership. You need to tackle your own psyche, your own problems first, and overcome rejection. If you can do that, then once you're ready for leading women and leading kids, we got the perfect formula for you to set up a family and retain those women forever, okay? They're not gonna come in and out of your life. Don't listen to any other people about women, bro. Like if you listen to this channel and the Women of High Value channel, you'll understand that the things that we teach are completely different from the rest of the world, okay? But for now, make sure you sub to the Women of High Value channel, but for now, let's take out the 2 others right now. Lead women, lead kids, that's for later. That has massive amounts to do with masculinity. However, let's tackle these 3. If you understand how these 3 relate to rejection and relate to setting a higher standard for yourself, it's massive. Imagine if you started with phase number 2 immediately. You don't allow yourself to be led. You're gonna get into trouble. Why? Because phase 2 is leading yourself. Very often when you lead yourself, you're gonna allow your emotions to control. You don't know what your higher standard is. A person who, for example, is not being coached, who does not have a mentor of some sort, he's going to allow his emotions to lead him of what he thinks his higher standard should be. You don't know your potential. You don't know the next step on your journey, probably. And if you do, then you're going to set a lower standard than what someone else would expect of you because they know more in terms of experience and what your potential is. Because you're limited by your limited experiences of your past. You're limited by your limiting beliefs. You're limited. But if you allow yourself to be led and go through phase number 1 first, the road goes so much faster. It really becomes exponential. That's why I recommend having a coach. You know, I still have a few slots left that you can take and help you on your journey towards success and get there faster, okay? Get to the family part faster, right? Allowing yourself to be led means that someone else is setting a higher standard of what they believe that you can do, but that you don't believe yourself. Very often when I coach someone, what happens is that I tell them to do things that they're very uncomfortable doing. Right? I tell guys that they need to start selling immediately. They need to get a customer. And they're like, no, I don't know enough. I need to get this and this organized first. I need to plan more, blah, blah, blah. BS. I need you to get started on your selling process to start your business. Right? So I'm basically setting a higher standard for themselves, which means I'm rejecting them. It is a massive rejection. Because they're like, oh, I feel uncomfortable and I feel feminine, right? Because that's what they are. That's what all of us are. Until someone comes in there and believes in us that, no, bro, you can do it. You really can do it. You just need to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, use my belief. I believe in you, bro. I've got confidence that you're able to do this. And then they borrow that confidence from me or from whatever coach or mentor they have in order for them to take the step necessary to move towards their goal faster. Sometimes 10 times faster than they would on their own. It's ridiculous. But I simply set a higher standard for what they're supposed to do. And then if they do the things that I tell them to do, sometimes they do 50% or 20% of what I tell them to do, but they massively get a higher self-belief immediately. And now they have a higher standard for what they believe they can do. Now they have higher self-worth. They have more value. They've got more confidence. And now that's a launching pad to get to the next level. The moment you allow yourself to be led and you lead yourself at the same time, because no one's going to be around. You can't afford having someone leading you 24/7, which means that your coach is going to be there maybe 3% of the week, 5% of the week for you. He's available 24/7. At least I am, pretty much, almost. Not when I'm sleeping. But other than that, I'm completely available. But 95% of the time, you've got to lead yourself. So you got to get to phase 2. When you're in phase 2, guess what? He's set a higher standard for you, but now you need to live up to this higher standard. So you got to also have a higher standard and live up to it. And if you don't, you're basically allowing yourself to remain who you are or who you were, that you don't want to be anymore because you want to get to the land of your dreams as fast as possible. You got to understand that that's the ultimate rejection, staying who you are right there and not moving forward. But if you set that higher standard as well, together with your coach or mentor, then that will elevate your performance. You'll stop procrastinating and you'll take things to the next level. And then eventually, when you've led yourself sustainably over a period of time and you've got sufficient business, guess what? You get to hire employees. This happens to every single guy that I coach. If he establishes a business and he properly knows what to do in that business, and he focuses on that head on and gets uncomfortable and he works at it continuously, eventually he will have so much business that he will need employees. And that's when you know that your business is growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And over time, you will learn the leadership skills that are necessary for you to become the man you were designed to be. I wanted to just simply mention, again, you want to get uncomfortable, man. There's 3 categories of life. You've got health, you've got money, you've got relationships. In terms of, let's just tackle health first. In what ways are you rejecting yourself there or setting a higher standard for yourself? Well, basically eating healthily, okay? Eating the right stuff instead of the bad stuff. That is a rejection towards your emotions, right? You're chipping off femininity as we speak. Going to the gym or training in general, okay? Don't do too much of it because you don't have time for that crap. Okay? You should do some every day, but you shouldn't allow that to control your life. Focus on business, but we'll talk about that later. But basically, being in the gym or doing push-ups or doing the things that you're doing exercise-wise is a rejection towards your emotions. Fantastic. We love rejection, and we keep pushing ourselves to the next level. And it's the exact same thing with everything else when it comes from a health perspective. It is like to exercise creates stress on your body. But when you're at a normal level again, that stress has made it so that your body functions amazingly and optimally when it's not in that stressful situation. So it's amazing to reject yourself so that you can be accepted the rest of the day. That makes sense. And then the other aspect is from a monetary standpoint. You want to reject yourself in terms of having a limit to how much you spend. Because if you do that for a long period of time, over time you'll get an exponential growth curve because you make more and more and more and more and more and more money, but you keep the expenses at the same level, and then you invest the difference in your business or in the correct investments, which will cause an exponential growth curve, which will give you freedom. Over time, what you'll notice is that the people that don't think about money too much, statistically, are those that have a lot of it, right? It's so funny that poor people are those people that are basically saying, I don't like money. I don't want to think about money. Well, guess what? They're the ones that think about money the most. Okay? Rich people, they think about money when they want to think about money. because they have so much of it. Like their worry is how to get rid of it as fast as possible. Because it's losing value every year. Especially 2020. Okay? And the last one is relationships. You want to make sure that you have the best possible relationships in your entire life, right? Like, and compared to anyone, you want the best relationships because that will determine the quality of your life. And if you are not the right person, then you're gonna suck at choosing the right people in your life. So if you keep increasing your standard, then you will be able to say yes, yes, or no, no, no to the people that you don't want to have in your life, right? You say yes to those that you do, and that will elevate your lifestyle over time. The quality of your life is basically dependent upon the people that are around you. And if the people around you suck, birds of a feather flock together is because you suck. So if you're absolutely amazing, you've set that higher standard continuously for you over time, guess what? You're going to have people in your life that has set a massive high standard for themselves in their lives who are also interested in creating win-win situations. Man, your life can be absolutely amazing. You have no idea how amazing your life can be. You just got to get there one step at a time by setting a higher standard for yourself. Hope that makes sense, guys. And just remember one thing at the end here. If you're going to do this journey of rejecting yourself on a continual basis by setting a higher standard for yourself and doing things that you're not comfortable doing things that you don't want to do or basically don't feel like doing but you know is the right thing to do, you got to remember this. You've got to have positive self-talk every single day, all of the time. You've got this, right? You got to remember, I'm awesome. I'm fantastic. I can do it, right? Those things need to be part of your vocabulary as you go through this rejection. Because if you just get rejected again and again and again in the face, then you're going to start believing that you can't do it. Because the rejections are so hard and so bad and you feel like, man, I'm never going to get past this. I'm never going to get over this. Then you're basically saying that I can't change. I can't change. Then obviously you're not going to solve the problem. But if the rejection comes and you're like, okay, next time I'm going to do this instead. Boom. Then suddenly you actually are able to tackle the rejection. It comes from experience, right? Success comes from good judgment. Good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. But the key to it all, again, I'm repeating it. The key is to go through the bad experiences and be okay with having all of those bad experiences and enjoy having all those bad experiences happening to you. Because the more bad experiences you have happening to you that you voluntarily go into, the more experience you get. And then at some point, you begin to have good judgment. And that's when you'll get success. This is the Men of High Value channel. Let's see if any one of you have written anything. You are live. How are you? Greetings from India. Putting our focus and energy into something consistently to cause exponential growth in the multiple areas in our life for the long run. Semen retention. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you guys in the next one.